In a forgotten corner of Africa, cradled between the breath of the Umbala hills and the sighs of the ancient wind, lies Kalubanda, a village swallowed by time and memory. The red African earth here is not just soil, it is the skin of ancestors, the whispers of the dead pressed deep beneath barefoot paths. Thatched roofs curl into the smoky dawn, children's laughter echoes like old drums, and elders sit beneath porches with eyes that have seen empires fall. Kalubanda isn't on any map, but if you listen closely enough, it speaks through the rustle of mango trees and the cries of nightjars, a place suspended in spirit, where magic is not myth but memory. At the edge of Kalubanda, rooted in silence and myth, stands the mahogany tree. Towering and gnarled, its bark cracked like old skin, it looms like a judge over the village. No leaves have fallen in decades. No bird dares nest. Children avoid its shadow. Elders bow as they pass. They say its roots coil into the bones of kings, into sins never confessed. But the most haunting truth is this: it only blooms when bloodlines awaken, and justice stirs in the womb of the earth. For 100 years, it stood mute. Until now. In the heart of Kalubanda lived Naiya, a girl with eyes that didn't match her smile. Orphaned at 5 when fire devoured her family hut, she emerged from the ashes untouched, clutching a charred piece of cloth and a silence that grew with her. Raised by her uncle Jomo, she wandered barefoot through the fields with a quiet grace that unnerved the elders. Her dreams were always the same: flames dancing, a woman crying, a baby wailing. And every time she passed the mahogany tree, the wind would die. She was marked. Not just by tragedy, but by something waiting. Each night in her clay-walled room, Naiya's dreams grew heavier. She'd toss in sweat, whispering in a language not her own. She saw a woman wrapped in fire, her screams muffled by smoke, cradling a burning child while chanting, "Return, return, daughter of ash." The silence must break. In these dreams, the mahogany tree always stood in the background, blooming red flowers that bled into the soil. Her sleep became a ritual of haunting. And yet, she could not turn away. The village held its breath the morning the mahogany tree bloomed. From its naked branches erupted deep crimson petals, like open wounds against the sky. The elders wailed. Women poured water over the soil. Men dug up old drums and hung them at their doorways. It hadn't bloomed since Kalina, Naiya's grandmother, had been bound and burned for witchcraft. The past had cracked open. And it was hungry. That evening, through the dusk-hazed fields, came an old woman no one had seen in decades. Mzaru, the last known keeper of truth, returned with bones in her hair and songs in her steps. Her presence sent children running and dogs whimpering. She walked straight to the mahogany, touched its bark, and whispered, "She has awakened." Then she turned toward Naiya's hut. The girl must know. The past is hers now. Under the silver moon, Naiya was pulled by an invisible thread to the base of the mahogany. She dug with bare hands through the tangled roots until her fingers touched old wood. A drum, blackened with age, wrapped in snake skin and tied with beads of teeth, rested in the dirt like a sleeping heart. As she touched it, she felt heat surge through her veins, a rhythm enter her chest. And the tree, for the first time, whispered her name. Mzaru sat with Naiya and told her the story hidden from her all these years. "Your mother," she said, "was not just a healer, she was a bridge, a keeper of the song of reversal, a chant that could undo time's damage." The colonizers feared it. The elders feared it more. They betrayed her. Set her alight while the mahogany watched. "You, Naiya, carry her blood. You are the echo of fire." Naiya didn't cry. She simply looked at her palms and whispered, then let it burn again. It was Jomo, her own uncle, who confessed it tremblingly that night. "We were afraid, child," he said, staring at the floor. "They said if the song was awakened, the white men would return. We chose silence. We chose sacrifice." He had locked her mother in their home and struck the flame himself. And still, she had screamed her daughter's name until the roof fell. Naiya looked at him, her face unreadable, and walked away into the dark. In Mzaru's hut, surrounded by dried herbs and bone charms, Naiya learned the song. It was not sung, but drummed. Each beat aligned with the rhythm of the earth, each note a syllable of time. When played correctly, the song opened the Veil Lands, a realm between the living and the dead. But power came with cost. To bring back, Mzaru warned, "You must give up something that cannot be replaced." Naiya began the ritual on the 7th night. Dressed in white cloth, her body painted with ancestral symbols, she struck the drum beneath the mahogany. The village trembled. The ground opened. A cold mist rose from the roots, wrapping around her body, pulling her downward. She didn't scream. She let herself fall into the in-between. The veil was not a place, but a feeling. The sky was the color of dying embers, the trees bled sap, and shadows whispered in forgotten languages. Naiya wandered through fields of echoing voices until she found her mother, young, burning, beautiful. They embraced in silence. And when her mother finally spoke, it was not in greeting, but in warning. You can return us, but at what cost? Her mother revealed the full truth. Generations of keepers had tried to bury the song, but it always returned. The curse was born from betrayal, the first keeper killed by her own village. And every daughter after suffered the same fate. You are the last, Naiya, her mother said. The mahogany has made its choice. Will you break the curse, or feed it? Faced with the choice, Naiya was offered two paths. 1. Use the song, bring back her family, and awaken the curse fully, dooming Kalubanda to centuries of spiritual unrest. Or 2. Silence the song, bury the power forever, and give her mother peace. The ancestors stood in a circle, watching. Time waited. While Naiya journeyed through the vale, Mzaru spoke to the village. She revealed Jomo's betrayal and the council's silence. The people of Kalubanda wept and tore their clothes in mourning, not just for the family they betrayed, but for the truth they buried. The mahogany's flowers began to fall, one by one. Naiya emerged from the vale on the 8th night. She was changed. Her eyes carried stars. Her voice carried thunder. She stood beneath the mahogany and told the village, I have chosen. We will not resurrect the past. We will honor it. And we will be free. In a ceremony attended by all of Kalubanda, Naiya wrapped the sacred drum in cloth and herbs, kissed it, and buried it beneath the mahogany. As the soil covered it, a gust of wind blew through the tree, and the petals all dropped at once. The mahogany fell silent. At last, Jomo collapsed before her. I do not deserve forgiveness, he whispered. Naiya knelt and placed her hand on his shoulder. But I deserve peace, she replied. And that peace could not grow in hatred. The village watched as they embraced. Old wounds wept and began to heal. With the curse ended, the land began to breathe again. Rivers cleared, crops grew taller, and children no longer feared the mahogany. The sky seemed lighter. The past no longer haunted, it taught. And Kalubanda became a village of stories, not silences. Naiya was chosen as the new keeper, not of magic, but of memory. She would not chant spells or summon spirits. She would tell stories, teach children the names of the forgotten, and ensure no truth would ever rot beneath the soil again. The mahogany still stands at the village's edge, but it blooms no more. It no longer cries or calls. It listens. And when the wind brushes its bark, it sounds less like a warning, and more like a sigh of relief. Some villagers say that on certain nights, if you press your ear to the tree, you can hear a soft drumming, like a heartbeat buried in earth. And if you're quiet enough, you might hear her voice, I remember. I chose peace. Women began painting murals again. Songs returned to morning markets. The smell of stew replaced incense. Kalubanda became not a place of shadows, but of spirit, rooted in truth, not fear. Naiya watched it all with a quiet pride. Years later, children gather beneath the mahogany as Naiya tells the story. Not of witches or flames, but of mothers and courage, of silence undone. This tree once spoke, she says. But now, it listens. And that is enough. In the sacred heart of Africa, where trees remember and spirits linger, the legend of Naiya lives on. She who walked through fire, who touched the dead, who chose not vengeance, but memory. And because of her, Kalubanda sings.